Welcome to Season 2 of the Coach Pony podcast, where our goal is to help you learn the critical business skills that you need to succeed as a coach. In this season, we'll explore many of the different ways coaches can make money and take an honest look at the money math so you know how much you can expect to earn. If you're debating between group coaching and private coaching, or if you can't decide if you should write a book or host a retreat, this is the season for you. In this episode, we'll be taking a much closer look at group coaching and uncover some of the pros, cons, and other things that may surprise you. So with that, let's get down to business. So since you're listening to this episode of the podcast, I'm guessing that as a new or a newer coach, you may have some questions about group coaching.
Hey, Christy, it's Clark again. As a new coach, I've heard quite a bit about group coaching, but I still have a lot of questions, such as, how much can I charge for group coaching? How do I even get started? Just tell me everything.
No problem. I'm happy to help. And I have to say, before we dive into all of the gritty details, I personally love group coaching. It is so much fun. My group programs are the backbone of my coaching business for two reasons: income and heart. So group coaching was how I reached multiple six figures early in my business and beyond seven figures now. And it's also where my heart still remains today. These programs fuel me in a special way because there's something magical to me about working with a group. But that's me. And the truth for you is that group coaching may or may not be for you. It's definitely not for everyone, and that's okay. But let's talk about what group coaching is so we're all on the same page. Group coaching is, of course, similar to private coaching in that you are using a coaching process and you're working with people. It has a live component to it, whether it's literally meeting in person or on a live webinar as a group. Group coaching will almost certainly have some formal training or teaching materials included as part of the program, and it may or may not include a specific start and end date. Finally, a group program caters to people, obviously a group of people, over a period of weeks or months. The big obvious difference between group and private coaching is that you're serving a group instead of individuals, and because of that, the cost per person is usually a little bit lower than what you might find in private coaching. The other big difference is that you aren't going completely at the client's pace since you are not working with an individual. So you do have a curriculum in mind. And in this way, group coaching is less tailored than private coaching. Group program pricing can also range quite a bit, so this one's really hard to quantify. Many group programs start around a couple $100s, with an average between $500 and $1,500 per person, but it can really range. On the outside edge, some group programs can cost as much as $5,000 or $6,000, or even more than $10,000.
Okay, that's great. Group coaching sounds like the lucrative avenue that I'm looking to explore. But what am I missing? Is there more that you can tell me?
Of course, I'm happy to. Group coaching is a really great way to earn money as a coach, and that is one of the pros. So let me unpack that a little bit further. Group coaching, unlike private coaching, is indeed really scalable, meaning once you have developed your system and your method of delivery, whether that's the phone, a Zoom call, a live workshop, or something else, you can add additional people to your program with little to no extra effort. My group programs are designed to have hundreds of people participate all at one time, which means that I personally have dramatically leveraged my time and my reach. However, not every group program can scale to hundreds or thousands of people. Scaling depends on how much contact you want to have with everyone in your group cohort and how personal you want the experience to be. But it is somewhat scalable at any level, and that's why it's a really effective business model. Another pro of group coaching, which I love, is that the group or the community aspect really adds to the experience. While there is a lot to be said for one-on-one support, people learn so much from each other. In a group setting, I found that better questions are asked, clients can get support and validation from each other, and there's a sense of belonging that contributes to your students making really great progress. Some people also love to lurk, or they're shy, or they're a little bit scared to ask questions. They can get so much out of watching you coach others or hearing the questions asked by other clients. Group coaching can also make you a better coach and a better teacher because you are working with a bigger community, so you're fielding more varied questions and have people with more diverse experiences interacting together. Another big pro of group coaching is that there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how you design the program. So when I first started out group coaching, I only offered programs at certain times of the year. What was super nice about this is that I was able to take downtime in between group offerings and have these big scheduled breaks. And I could deliver the program from anywhere because my program was all online, as long as I kept my time zones in mind when I planned my travels. Then, a few years ago, I made one of my really big group programs evergreen, so it's almost always open for enrollment. I had decided it would be better for the community to make it readily available exactly when they needed it and not when I was willing to open it. So with a few tweaks, I took the program from a few times a year to always available. This allowed me more flexibility to test and play with my marketing and also allowed us to strengthen some of our onboarding systems and our delivery systems, since instead of doing the program a few times a year, we were enrolling new students every single day. My point is, whatever you choose, there's a lot of flexibility to work within your preferred style of coaching and your preferred style of living. Another big pro of group coaching that we don't talk about often enough is that it can help you avoid repeat burnout. So if you end up coaching privately for a long time, and this definitely happened to me in the beginning of my business, what you'll realize is that if you're really niched, you'll find that most people go through a very similar set of issues in order to get to the goal that you want to help them achieve. And after a while, it can feel like you're explaining the same thing over and over and over and over again. But if you're doing group coaching, then when you're explaining concepts or ideas, then you're often doing it just once. You're not doing it every single week with individuals because you're delivering it to the group. And this can help you avoid burnout in certain areas. One final really big pro of group coaching is that it's often offered at a lower price point than private coaching, which means more people can get access to you. Now, I believe you should be charging in the thousands or at least $1,000 for your private coaching package. But group coaching can be much cheaper for the individual, which makes it easier to say yes. Yes! And allows people from more walks of life to access coaching.
Christy, my mom always said, if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So you should always look for the downsides. What are the downsides of group coaching? I mean, there has to be some, right? It can't all be love and rainbows and puppies. Can you tell me the hard truth? Because I want to hear it and I can take it.
All right, I'm happy to be brutally honest with you. And one big con of group programs is that they often take more effort in terms of marketing and selling, and new coaches often underestimate this. Private coaching practices can be easily built on referral and word of mouth, and you can start as soon as a client says yes. So it's easy to enroll people at any time and also keep your monthly revenue up. And better yet, landing one high-end private coaching client can pay for all of your monthly expenses, which can be a giant relief, especially as a new coach. But most group coaching doesn't come at the same premium price, so you need more people to enroll in your programs to make up the difference and make the same amount of revenue. This means that a lot more marketing and selling has to happen to fill your programs, especially if you're trying to enroll people all at once because you want them to all start on the same day. That takes time and effort, and it's a whole separate skill that you really have to learn or hire. Another big con is that large-scale group programs require a lot more infrastructure than you might expect. So my very first coaching program relied solely on freeconferencecall.com and my personal Yahoo email address, which is really embarrassing to say now.
Aw, Christy.
To send out the homework to my students. So we met on Free Conference Call, and then I just used my email to email them the worksheets. But once I became a little bit more professional and that program grew from 5 people to 500, and the price increased from $197 to $1,200, I had to put so much more in place for that program. And so now, today, years later, my group programs have password-protected private portals, developers, designers, email campaigns, ad budgets, IT support people, community managers, and all sorts of bells and whistles. And this infrastructure took me years to develop and build, in addition to constantly redeveloping the program, revamping it to keep it as amazing as possible. So this takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of management, and it can be both frustrating and tiring. Another con is that in the beginning, group programs can and often do fail. So I want to be really honest about this. What if you create a snazzy new program that you are extremely excited about, you pour your time and your love and your resources into it, and then only 1 or 2 people sign up for the live offer? Then you're stuck delivering a program to too few people for too little cash, and it can feel really soul-destroying, especially when you're first starting out and you don't necessarily have a big cash safety net. So a lot of new coaches really immediately want to build a large-scale group program, which is amazing. And I'm saying, telling you it's good, you can do it. But please don't forget to take into account how much goes into building, selling, and marketing these programs so that they are worthwhile to run. I obviously love them, but I don't want anyone to walk away thinking they're super easy or super fast. To do it right, they take time and effort. One big final con to group coaching is that the industry, the online marketing and training industry, which is bigger than just coaching but encompasses it, has been changing for the last few years. Back in 2017, the bottom really fell out of the online course market across a variety of industries, and people saw their businesses disintegrate. And there are a lot of people out there that will tell you that a group program or a big online program will change your life and your business, and you need to do one now because you're going to make 6 or 7 figures right away. But I'm here to tell you the truth, that these programs are not as popular with clients as they once were. People still want a lot of personal help, or they want something cheap and easy. I've interviewed a ton of coaches who have experienced this shift in their business, and I've also seen different changes in my own business that tell me these programs aren't the once super reliable money makers that they used to be, where you could just launch a group program and make a ton of money. People are getting their information and doing their learning a little bit differently today. And, the market was really saturated. So to make your group program stand out, it's just a little bit harder than it once was.
Awesome. This gives me a lot to think about, but I'm curious, what do you think? Should I focus in on group coaching? Is this the right business model for me?
Maybe. As I said at the beginning of this section, group coaching is not for everyone, and that's totally okay. You can do fine as a coach without doing group coaching. To be successful running group programs, you need to be incredibly comfortable in terms of marketing yourself and your services, and you need to be willing to put yourself out there and face more rejection than you would simply as a private coach, because you'll have programs that won't fill up or they won't sell out. You'll have launches that may fail, and you'll need to be prepared for a few more ups and downs. It's a bit more of a roller coaster. And if you can't hack the roller coaster and the idea that at least one of your group programs is probably not going to do very well, then don't do it. And again, it's okay. You don't have to. But the flip side is that group programs are also amazing. It's a wonderful feeling to create a great community that's really robust and just takes on a life of its own. It's wonderful to extend your reach, and it's great to have an avenue to help more people. So if you're okay with the added stress of marketing and launching a group program, they may be absolutely perfect for you.
So I've listened to some past episodes of your podcast, and I know you like to talk numbers. What can you tell me about the numbers when it comes to group coaching? What do I need to invest, and how much can I expect to earn?
Of course, let's do it. Let's do the money math. As always, I want to caveat this by saying the numbers I'm about to share with you are just a simple rough guideline. They're not the Bible, but I just wanted to give you an example of what is possible. To start in group coaching, you will definitely need a simple website and a sales page for your group program. You're going to need Zoom or another webinar or a community platform, and potentially the services of a designer to give your homework or your handouts or your sales page a little extra oomph so they look a little bit more professional. As an estimate, that might cost you around $500 to $1,500 if you're fairly frugal to do all of the above, more if you're not. And so if we switch to talking about your group program in particular, let's say you offer group coaching twice a year and you limit your program to 20 people because you want to have it be really high touch. So you charge $600 per person for 6 weeks of live group programming. If you did that, you'd make $12,000 gross revenue per round of coaching if you sell the program out. or $24,000 for the year if you did the offer twice. So for 12 weeks of work, you'd make $24,000. But let's say you charged a little bit more. If you charged $1,000 per person and you had 30 people enroll, you'd make $30,000 per round of coaching and $60,000 for the year. Again, for that 12 weeks of coaching work, plus the additional few months of marketing. And if you charged $1,000 per person for the program and had 50 people enroll and you did it twice a year, you'd make around $100,000 for the year after you subtracted for refunds. You would definitely probably have at least 1 or 2 refunds and expenses. So plan on just under 6 figures, but that's not bad. So there's a lot of flexibility here with what you want to do with the group.
Yeah, group coaching basically sounds what I'm looking for, but how do I get started? Is there some way that you can just sort of lay out the major high-level steps that I need to go through to get started?
Sure. I love to share steps. So step 1 is to spend a significant amount of time figuring out the big transformation you will help your clients achieve at the end of the program. After they've spent 4, 6, or even 10 weeks in your group program, what specifically will be different in their lives? Make sure this is something both concrete and that they actually want versus something that you think that they need. So to put it simply, this is not the time to have a transformation around abundance or clarity as the big goal. People want specific things like a promotion or to find a loving partner or to find a new job. So get super clear on how your program will help them achieve that specific goal. Step 2, map out the steps your clients need to take in order to make it to that specific goal. This will become your overall curriculum for the group program, and you will need a curriculum to show people before they are willing to sign up. So dig into each step once you've got that high-level curriculum and think about what your clients need to learn or do at each step. This will help inform your agenda. Then think about how you will deliver each step. Will you do live coaching, a mix of coaching and teaching? Will you have pre-homework, or will you do it all on the live sessions? Figure out your structure and your high-level agenda for each session, but leave room for flexibility so you can adapt it to your group's needs. Step 3 is to plan your numbers. So how many people can you effectively help in a group setting, especially the first time out? And then based on that, how many people do you want to enroll? So my best advice is that it's better to start smaller and give people a bit more of a tailored experience in the beginning. It'll save you both time and stress and also allow you to produce better results because you'll be able to focus more on the individuals and have a better impact. Step 4, plan your launch. Group programs have a beginning, middle, and end. So there's a definitive start date, especially for a live group program, even if you eventually switch to an evergreen model like mine. So for this first launch, pick that date and then back it up by at least a month because that's how much time you'll need to begin to market the program and spread the word and get people to enroll. So how will you market it? One-on-one sales, via building an email list, social media, all of the above. Sit down and think about how many people you're going to be able to reach doing that and if the number that you've said you're going to enroll lines up. Step 5, pick out your technology. So how specifically will you deliver the program? You could be old school and do it via the phone. You could do Zoom. You could do Facebook Lives in a Facebook group or something else. Don't be afraid to start super simple in the beginning and build slowly. Tech should not be a stumbling block for you. It's okay to just start with a simple Facebook group or even a simple workshop and meet live in the beginning. Step 6, it's time to write your sales page. Group programs need some sort of sales page where you describe the curriculum and the experience, and so it's time to put that together now. On this page, you'll want to include the big goal of the program, why people really want this goal, what kind of pain and struggle they're experiencing now, and how the program is going to solve that pain or struggle, why they should trust you, specifically what credibility you bring to the table, what's included in detail in the program, and any common questions they might have that would prevent them from signing up, as well as a way to contact you. You will also need to include a refund policy and any appropriate terms and conditions that relate to the program. Step 7, commit and launch. So you've really got to commit to delivering the program and to seeing it through and putting that commitment into your launch when you start to market the program and start to enroll people into it. So remember, it's easier to enroll people. You'll enroll a higher percentage of people if you're having individual personal sales calls. It's not particularly scalable, but for your first group program, it could be a great way to start. If you're not, and you're selling your group program over email and social media, remember the conversion rate is going to be very low. Only about 1% to 2% of people who read those emails or those social media posts are going to sign up. So keep your expectations in line.
Sweet. I took some notes. Now I'd like to know what tools I may need to get started. Is there anything that you would suggest?
Absolutely. In fact, I'll do a lightning round. This week, our Tools Lightning Round is sponsored by Caramel and Chocolate Butter Cake from a recipe I got on Half Baked Harvest. If you have not checked out her recipes, they are amazing, though there's a lot of fat and sugar involved.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, our lightning round is always sponsored by something from Coach Pony. And today it's sponsored by the Marketing Masterclass, which will show you the big mistakes coaches make when marketing their businesses and how to avoid them so that you can find your own paying clients. And you can find the Marketing Masterclass at coachpony.com/marketing. Tool number 1, a sales page or information page about your program that you can build in WordPress, Entrepages, Wix, or Lead Pages. Tool number 2, a virtual way to convene the group if you're not meeting in person. Obviously, Zoom is a great choice today. Tool number 3, Pages or Word to create worksheets and structured homework for your group. Tool number 4, Keynote, PowerPoint, or Prezi in order to design slides or other visual teaching aids to help the group learn. Tool number 5, a payment method to take credit cards like PayPal or Stripe. Tool number 6, a contact management system like MailChimp, ConvertKit, or Entreport. In the very beginning, you could use personal email if you're dealing with a very small group. So that wraps up our lightning round. Clark, did you get what you needed?
Yes, you totally answered most of my questions. And I've got more questions, such as, what was your first group coaching program like, Christy? Do you have a story that you can tell me that sort of, talks about what you did right, what went wrong, what you would do if you had the chance to do it over again?
I can absolutely tell you that story because so many things went both right and wrong in my first group coaching program, even when it grew to be large. And so I'll definitely talk about as many of them as possible in the next episode. And that's it for today. Well, except once you've got your group coaching program ready to go, how on earth do you find the clients to buy it? Well, don't panic. Marketing your business does not have to be terrifying or exhausting, but you do need to avoid a few common mistakes. Want to know what they are and how to avoid them? Awesome. Come on over to coachpony.com/marketing to learn how to find paying clients for your business. When you do, you'll get access to a completely free, in-depth marketing masterclass, which will save you time and tears. Plus, we'll get to hang out for a little bit longer. You can find it at coachpony.com/marketing. That's coachpony.com/marketing. And in the meantime, hit subscribe on this podcast, leave us a review, and I will see you on the next episode where I'll be revealing a bunch of my own group coaching mistakes. See you next time.